So a much anticipated contest for the quarterfinals will be this matchup between the Crusaders and the Fijian Drua. Now, these two sides have met once throughout the regular season, and that was a win to the Flying Fijians. Now they meet again in a playoff game. Whoever wins this game will be moving on to the semi-finals. The loser, unfortunately, their Super Rugby campaign will be over. But throughout this preview, we will be looking through at their most recent fixture, the key players to watch out for both of these sides, and then a prediction on who we think will be walking away victorious. Now, it is myself. I'm repping the Fijian Drua polo. Have got Rugbyitch with me. He is wearing the Crusaders kit.
I don't like it.
How do you think? You don't like it?
I don't like the color. It doesn't suit me.
You're much more of a blues man, aren't you?
Exactly. Yeah.
So this probably hurts for you at the
really
moment, does it?
Like just wearing this, it just feels wrong. It's like, again, like I'm a Manchester United fan, so I guess I am used to a bit of red, but it's but in a rugby perspective, it just feels awful. It just feels awful to wear this kit.
This kit's quite nice.
Hey, I prefer to wear that kit any day of the week. Any day of the week.
But nonetheless, jumping straight into it. Looking at the previous fixture, the Fijian Drua, first of all, what a performance up against the Reds. They needed the win to get into that top 8, and they didn't just win it by a couple points. They won the game 41 points to 17, showing how much they wanted it. Luckily for the Fijian Drua, the way that it worked out, with them being just outside of that top 8, no matter what, after that game, they were safe, and it was just a case of were they going to be playing up against the Crusaders or were they going to be playing up against the Chiefs? So you'd have to say in this case, maybe a little bit of unfinished business, possibly with both the sides, but the Crusaders head-to-head with them in Fiji was actually the victory to the Fijian Drua. We had you covering that game on the channel while I was playing cricket.
Exactly.
If I remember rightly.
Yeah, that was a great game. Great game to commentate over.
And most recent game for the Crusaders, they actually had themselves the loss. So 27 points to 26. Who do you see with more momentum? Remembering the Crusaders in final rugby in the past, of course, they have a very good record. But is the passion and the heart and the excitement for the Fijians, is it going to be to that same level as the Crusaders?
This is by far the toughest one out of the lot, I think, because even though you would definitely say, oh, Crusaders are hands down the favorite, I do mean this when I say this. You cannot underestimate Fiji Drua. Like they have something special about them, particularly this season, and they've demonstrated that already with a win against the Crusaders in Fiji. The question is, are they able to do that from a away front? So that's really the next challenge for them, and this is really the perfect opportunity for them to kind of showcase that within a playoff game as well, in the quarterfinal in Christchurch. So I think if there's a better time to do it, it's now, because if they do win this, then they're in a a new territory they haven't kind of got before. I mean, again, this is a new territory for them anyway, being in the playoffs. But I think, look, it's going to be a good game no matter what. I think both sides will have a good game. I think it'll be very close, by the way. I actually do think this will be a close game. I actually don't think it'll be a wide margin. Maybe I'm wrong with that, but we'll discuss that later on. But yeah, I'm just intrigued by this game.
And there's certainly plenty of great players for both of the sides. The Crusaders, they've been struggling in the propping department more recently in terms of those injuries. To Mighty Williams and Ollie Jaeger, pretty decent too. They have coming back in time for these finals playoff games. It's going to be tough for the Fijian Drua. As much as I want to see them do extremely well here at ORANGETHEORY Stadium, they already know their back's up against the wall. And the fact that most of their wins have come in the form of home games, I mean, it's not impossible, but it's certainly going to be tough. But that is the kind of challenge and the kind of story that the Fijian Drua want for this season. They came from a side last year who got themselves, I believe, 1 or 2 victories. Now they've gone on and got themselves into a quarterfinal playoff game. I don't know why, but my face is about as red as your shirt at the moment. I think I've forgotten to breathe. I look like I'm about to pass out. I think it's from excitement for this contest, but it's going to be a very good one. It's getting more red. I don't even think it's the camera at this point. I'm turning into a tomato. I look like I've been out in Fiji in the sun for about 3 weeks. But key players, before I pass out, who are you looking at for the Crusaders as key players to watch out for in this matchup?
I mean, they have a lot of key players. Let's just get that straight. But I think for this game, like, I mean, they don't have Severis available. They don't have Havili. I mean, they have a lot of injuries actually that we've had taken into account for. But I mean, Mwanga is the obvious. Just to be perfect. I think Mwanga is the obvious player to say, but I also don't want to say him because I think it's too obvious. I feel like there's someone else that I should mention. I mean, there's Dallas McLeod. He's having a good season. I think he's having a very underrated season for the Crusaders. I mean, there's Leicester funny. Oh gosh, it's Leicester. But I think that's what you maybe say. I'll say Richie because I think Richie Mwanga is just one of those players where if I don't mention him, I just feel it's wrong because he's been a great servant to the Crusaders. Obviously, he is leaving this season. I mean, he's so much experience in the playoffs. This is the thing I hate about this Crusaders side, just that even though if I would love to say the Fijian Drua will win this game, it's just that the Crusaders are the team that if there's one team you cannot underestimate, it's the Crusaders. They are the team in Super Rugby playoffs. So yeah, I think Richard Mwanga is a big part to play in that. He just scores points for fun, really. So yeah, he's the guy I'd look out for in this game.
Okay, I'm looking at someone a little bit different for myself.
Ooh, okay.
I am going with a man who thoroughly impressed me last week, even though the Crusaders were defeated by the Hurricanes. And I mentioned him at halftime. I said, watch out for him in the second half because he's still going with a certain stat, and that was tackling.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what I was going to say. I think I know the player as soon as you said tackling.
Tom Christie. Yeah. The man made 27 tackles last week. He made the same amount of tackles as the Hurricanes made points. And he almost doubled anyone else in the Crusaders or Hurricanes team in the tackling department. And yes, some people might say, but that doesn't win you a game. It's just tackling. But tackling, when one player's making that many tackles, that is saving the stamina of a lot of your other teammates for the running game, the attacking in the back line, having someone fresh like a Leicester Whainānuku is looking to add some more tries onto a Super Rugby Pacific tally. I'm looking forward to seeing what Christie can do here, and I hope the All Blacks are also watching. Just because, Sam Cane, some people love him, some people hate him, probably like tomatoes, but he's one of those players who may end up finding himself a little bit further down the pecking order, and I hope that is because Tom Christie's starting to creep in there a little bit. Same with Billy Harmon. He's another player who I think right on the door of an AB's call-up. It's just getting that opportunity. And I feel like having some good playoff games is a way to do so. Unlucky Billy Harmon. Try again next year. But looking at this Fijian Drua side, who would you say are your keys? I know that they've added a couple more players back in, the likes of a Thurika Davita. Adura Sisi also coming back into fullback. Quite a reshuffle, though, last week in the back line.
Exactly.
Seems like they've kept a majority of those changes.
A bit of rest, I think, for one of the players, I'd say. But maybe they were that confident they'd beat the Reds at home. I don't know. But, yeah, I think for this, I mean, Adura Sisi is a great player. I mean, he's such an underrated player, I think, for Fiji Drua because he really controls everything from the back. But I think I have to go with the player who's been on form really for them throughout this whole season. It's been Masi. I mean, Masi has been sensational for them. I mean, he got a hat trick of tries. Was it against the Reds or was it the week before? I mean, he's just in. Masi he's kind of like in a weird way. He kind of reminds me of what Hobosi was within the first season of what he did because he just is able to run, and no one can stop him. It's just incredible to see what he can do. The great thing about Masi is that he's really good in terms of his awareness around others, in terms of understanding where everyone is in terms of his positioning. So yeah, he's a good balance on his feet, and yeah, he's electrifying in terms of his pace. So yeah, he's definitely the one to watch out for, I'd say.
Okay, I'm going very similar because I am going Celestino Ravatamunda, who is on his outside, which I feel like ties in quite nicely because you were saying about how he knows where the men on his outside are.
Yeah, the offloading game.
And that's why everyone loves watching the Fijian Drua play. Yeah. Like whether you support the Fijian Drua or not, they're going to play a game that's entertaining. And that's the thing. The Crusaders, they are known for their gritty, grindy, we're going to wear you down, we're going to tire you out, and then we're going to capitalize in the final moments and really pour on that pressure. The Fijian Drua, they've got the heart, they've got the determination, but it's whether or not that can carry them through 18 minutes away from home, up against the side from Christchurch, who have got a few titles, in the cabinet. Just a few. You know, it's pretty tough when you're almost getting to the stage of counting titles with your toes, not just your fingers, don't you? So that's the kind of thing that the Crusaders have got at the moment. Fijian Drua, though, if they won this trophy, it would be quite something special.
Yeah, that would be insane. I mean, I don't like to think too far ahead in terms of that front, because I think it's not the goal they're looking at the moment. I mean, the goal was just to get into playoffs. I think that's the goal for this season. So for them to be in the situation they are in now, it's just incredible for what it is. But I don't know I don't think they'll win the title this year, but I think they have the ability to make it far, maybe. I think that's maybe the possibility. They definitely have the ability to do that.
So this is the perfect time to ask for your prediction then.
Yeah, this is... it's so tricky. It's so tricky. Gosh, it's exactly what I said at the start, guys, how this is probably the trickiest prediction out of all the quarterfinals, in my opinion, because I think these two sides, at the end of the day, it can go either way. That's kind of the way I see it, because even though the Crusaders are heavily favorites, it's Fiji Drua. Like, it's Fiji Drua. So, oh gosh. The thing is, I would love to say Fiji Drua will win this game, but it's at home though. If it was in Fiji, I would automatically say Fiji. I think that's kind of the way I'm thinking about this. But because it's in Christchurch, and also the Crusaders want to kind of get back into winning form following that loss against the Hurricanes last week, I feel like they just want to kind of like, you know, take advantage of the opportunity, learn from the mistakes from last week, take it into this game. So yeah, I'm gonna say the Crusaders. I think the Crusaders will win this game. Like I said, it will be a close margin, but I'm gonna head towards the Crusaders kind of direction and say they'll win this game. I'll say 26 points to 23. I think it'll be a very close game. It could be decided like towards a penalty. I think that's kind of the way I see it.
You know what I'm thinking, Tim?
Are you gonna do it?
I don't know if I want to do it. They've got a good home record. I'm just looking through at their recent games, and every time that they've been playing at home over the past about 10 weeks, they have been getting victories.
Yeah.
The Crusaders.
Their only loss this season was against the Chiefs, right? In the opening round.
Yeah, for at home, that's the only loss that they have had, and that was a relatively one-sided game.
Yeah, that was very one-sided.
But, see, I'm looking at what they did to Moana Pacifica away from home, and I know that people will say that those two sides with the Fijian Drua and Moana Pacifica, that they aren't very similar. But then I think about that game that they had in Fiji when it was 47 points to 46, back and forth, and I'm worried that maybe the defense might struggle a little bit up against this Crusaders side, definitely if they are forced to make so many tackles early on. But we saw that the Crusaders, if they get stuck in their own half in that last game up against the Hurricanes, they couldn't get out. And this Fijian Drua side, if they are on attack for long enough, can create chances. It's one of those ones that
it's close.
I think I've got a prediction down here. I've got a prediction up here.
Exactly. I mean, you also have to keep in mind, by the way, that the Crusaders do have a lot of injuries. You know, a lot of injured players. Like, they don't have Havili. They don't have Sever Reese. I mean, they don't have like Fletcher Newell. They don't have. I mean, they have a lot of. Whitelock,
either.
They don't have Whitelock for this game. There's another prop I'm forgetting that they don't have. Fletcher Newell and
George Bauer.
George Bauer. That's Moody. It. Yeah. Is Joe Moody not even playing this one? I thought Joe Moody was.
Nah, he's been buggered for a while.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. So what are you thinking then?
Well, anyone who's seen my sevens predictions knows that I'm terrible at predictions. And normally the team that I say are going to win end up losing.
Oh, okay.
So you see where I'm going with this? I think I'm going to try and reverse psychology my way to the right answer here. I'm going to go the Crusaders win this game. I'm going to say 32 points to 24.
Ooh, okay.
A high-scoring one.
Yeah.
I like it because I feel like if there are gaps there, both sides are going to be able to capitalize, scoring a lot of points, and we'll see whether or not my reverse psychology might end up helping out a certain side. That's the thing. I live in Canterbury. So if I went out in public with this shirt, the thing is I might get, like, maybe I get a high five from one person, whereas about 20 or 30 people after the result, if it ends up going the Drua's way. Exactly right. Lucky I'm tough. Hey.
Hey.
Not really, though, am I? Get blown over by the wind, I do, Tim. But
what happens to the best of us?
Does it? But nonetheless, we do thank you all very much for tuning into this preview. Do let us know your score predictions down in the comments below. Do you think the Drua can do it, or will the Crusaders continue their reign as one of the top sides in this Super Rugby Pacific competition? But thank you all very much for tuning in. Be sure to check out Rugbyitch over on his channel as well. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We will see you all for the next one.